In this video, we're going to look at two examples, one really simple one, and then one that's a little bit more complex, of production possibilities curves. So we should recognize now that what a production possibilities curve shows is the maximum amount that a country, or you can think of it as even as a person, could choose with a limited amount of resources that it has, right? So in the couple of videos ago, I talked about a guy that had $10, right? And he wanted to buy two goods. You can't just buy as much as he wants of both goods. He has to kind of, as he gains more of one, he has to give up more of another. And the last one, talk about this country, Usonia. We'll use Usonia again. And it has a certain amount of resources. Those resources, we said, were things like, and I'm going to use the actual terms now. It has labor, right? So it has workers. It has land that it can use, and then it has capital. Land, labor, capital. Those three things are going to be the three things that we think of when we think of about the finite resources that a country can use. So this first one, actually I'm going to go outside of using Usonia as an example, but this first one will be let's just use hours in the day. And I'll use this example again, but let's say we know that there are 24 hours in the day, and you have a choice between two activities, right? So those two activities could be, let's say they could be sleep. Could be sleep, or we'll call it Netflix, right? So let's say those are your, I got a better idea. We'll go, and this might not apply to everybody. It might apply to some people. It might be perfectly applicable. It might not be. Let's say sleep or Fortnite. Is night like this? I don't even know. All right, Fortnite. Those are your two options. You have 24 hours a day, two options. You can sleep or play Fortnite. This might describe some people's summer. Other people might not care at all. So let's say that we have one option right here. This is sleep. And this option over here is Fortnite. Now, again, I might be spelling night incorrectly there. I don't even know. But if you decide that you're going to play Fortnite for 24 hours, I know there are more options. It's a complex world. We're going to say you have two options within 24 hours. But if you decide to play Fortnite for 24 hours, how many hours can you sleep? Again, you should easily know the answer to that one. But if you were over here, and we'll call it point A like we did before, that point is 0.24. So if you take all your hours of the day and you dedicate it to one thing, how much is left over for that other thing? 0. And then you flip it and you say, well, what's the opposite of that? If I just decide to sleep all day, right, and I'm right here, this is 24. How long can I play Fortnite? Obviously the answer is 0. Now, this is where it starts to get a little bit more complex, and this one is going to be pretty simple. And the other ones will be a little bit more complex. But if I decide that I'm at point B right here, and I realize that sleeping all day and getting no Fortnite is not good, or I could be at point A and saying playing Fortnite all day and sleeping 0 hours a day is really bad, and I want to have some more balance in my life, and I decide, you know what, I would like to gain more Fortnite. And let's just make it easy, and it's not to scale at all, but let's say I want to gain 1 hour of Fortnite. So I'm at point B up here, and I want to gain 1 hour of Fortnite. What do I have to give up in order to gain an hour of Fortnite? I have to give up an hour of sleep, right? So I have to drop this hour right here so I can gain another hour of Fortnite right here, right? So we did this one before. I gain some, but I lose some. So I'm at this point right there. All right. So if I were to say, what's the opportunity cost of 1 hour of, I'm just going to put Fortnite like that. What's the opportunity cost of 1 hour of Fortnite? It would be 1 hour of sleep. All right. What about this? What if I'm at 23 hours of Fortnite and I want to gain the 24th hour of Fortnite? I'm going to ask again, what's the opportunity cost of the 23rd to 24th, which would still be 1 hour of Fortnite? The opportunity cost is still 1 hour of sleep, right? And so now I know this is going to kind of cut through here a little bit, but this line would be kind of this straight line, just about like that, or for every hour I gain, I give up 1 hour. Gain 1 hour, give up an hour. Gain an hour, give up an hour. And so we can kind of look at it like this, just like that. If I gain an hour, I'll do it in a different color down here. If I gain an hour here, I give up an hour here. If I gain 1 more hour here, I give up 1 more hour here, and it keeps going. Gain an hour, lose an hour. 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 And it keeps going just like that. And you can see that in hours of the day pretty easily. If I decide to do something for an hour, I give up the opportunity to do that other thing I could have done for that same hour, right? If you use 10 minutes to watch this video, you give up 10 minutes of watching a different video. The opportunity cost is the 10 minutes of doing something else. Okay? So I'm going to go to a different example and have it get a little bit more complex. And if I have to go into the next video, I will. But this one is where it's not just hours in the day. So we're going to bring back our Usonia idea. I'll write it here again. So Usonia has a fixed amount of, and I'm going to abbreviate, land, labor, and capital, right? It means it only has a finite amount of land, labor, and capital, right? So it can choose what it can produce between those resources, right? It can't just produce whatever it wants to. So one of the simple examples that the old school economists use is they use an example of we can produce, the country, Usonia, can produce guns or it can produce butter. Those are the two options of what it can produce, guns or butter. All right, it can produce military things or it can produce stuff that people use to eat, let's say. And we should know this by now. If I'm at this point, A, right here, we know that's the maximum amount of guns that I can produce if I produce 0 butter. Or if I'm at this point over here, this is point B, that's the maximum amount of butter I can produce if I produce 0 guns. So I'm going to put some numbers with this, and I'm going to try to use kind of a simple process here. So let's just call this 1, and it could stand for 1,000 or whatever, but we'll just call it 1 butter, or 1,000 pounds of butter, whatever it is. And let's call this one 2, and let's call this one 3. Right? So what's the maximum amount of butter that this country, Usonia, could produce? 3 million pounds of butter, whatever it is. And so then, let's say that this is guns up here, and let's say the maximum amount of guns that this economy could produce. And I'm going to try to make this nice and even here for a minute. All right, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's say that this is 8,000. Okay. Now, this is going to get a little bit more realistic and a little bit more complex, because what happens in some scenarios like this, where we have guns and we have butter, those two resources aren't anything alike. The land, labor, and capital used to make butter is really, really different than the land, labor, and capital used to make guns. They're just really different. So when I take all of my land, labor, and capital and I make guns, I can produce 8 guns. But we decide we want at least 1 butter. So we're going to have to give up some guns. So let's say this drops from 8 to 7, right? And so we're at this point, let's call it point right there. All right, so let's keep track of this. Guns right here. We'll try not to have it get into our graph, although it might. And butter right here. So keep track of what's happening right here. So we're at 8, 0, and we drop to 7, and we gain 1 butter. Everybody see that? Okay. Now let's say, actually, this economy wants to move to 2 butter. And in order to get to 2 butter, let's say that this economy drops to then, let's call this 6 and this 5. Let's say it drops down to 5, which is going to be this point right here. So let's keep track of this. So guns goes to 5 and butter goes to 2. That would be this point. And then let's say it wants to gain this last one, number 3. And that's all. That's its maximum, right? So do you remember how many guns this economy could produce if they put all of their resources into butter? Hopefully remember the answer was 0 down here. All right, so I think I did this right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And we would be at point B right there. So let's call this A, B on the edges, and then we'll go C, D, and we can kind of put our curve in like that. All right, so this is our production possibilities curve. So we'll go, for this last one, it's 0 and 3. So what happened here? What's happening? I gain 1 butter, and I give up, where we'll go like this, I plus 1, and then I was minus 1. And then I was plus 1 again, but now I was minus 2. And then I was plus 1 again, but then, and now I'm getting in the way here, I was minus 5, right? What happened? I gained a butter, I gave up 1 gun. I gained another butter, and I gave up 2 guns. Gained another butter, I gave up 5 guns. What was happening? Again, what we're seeing right here, that's my opportunity cost. So for the first butter, the opportunity cost was 1 gun. For the second butter, the opportunity cost was 2, and for the last one, it was 5. So what's happening to my opportunity cost? This is called increasing opportunity cost. Increasing opportunity cost. Anybody know why that would happen? Think about it in real life, right? I have a certain amount of land, labor, and capital. If I use all of that to make guns, even stuff that's not good at producing guns is making guns. And so when I shift over to making some butter, I take things that are actually better at making butter and go and make butter. So I only have to give up a bit of guns because they weren't even that good at making guns anyways. If you think about the United States, not every place in the United States is good at manufacturing things, right? Some places are agricultural based, so they're good at making butter. So those first ones that go and make this first, whatever it is, 1 million pounds of butter, let's say, are the Midwest. It's Wisconsin and Minnesota and Iowa, and they're good at making butter. So they abandon making guns to make butter, which they're good at. So we don't actually lose that much for our first one right there. We only lose a little bit. But then when we go to the second one, we lose a little bit more because the things that are shifting over, they're pretty good at making guns. They're not great. And they're pretty good at making butter. They're not terrible, but it takes a few more of those resources, extra resources, to shift over and make that next 1 million pounds of butter. But what about this last? Why do we have to give up 5 to get our third one? Because the things that we're giving up, the resources, are all going into making butter. So even the places where they're good at manufacturing, where it's really dry, desert, not good at producing agricultural stuff, they got to go and make butter. And so it takes all of those resources, all of those extra resources to go and make butter. So our opportunity cost is increasing as we shift production from one good to another good. All right, in the next video, we'll dive in just a little bit more, one last time, with production possibilities, just to make sure we're clear on everything.